force my child to come into my world.
I don't think it's yours just yet.
Come here. Did you really think you could best me here when you couldn't below?
I heard you went shopping at the local boogity store. One stone. Oh, good. I need to work up an appetite first.
There's almost no chance that she's ever going to regain consciousness.
It's your day.
Oh my God.
I'll do that and worse. Murderous little fiend. Did you see what you did to my face? For some weeping, if I were you, I'd get set for a world of pain. Misery loves company, young man, and I'm looking to share that with you and your whore.
I just need to find out what was in 314.
Me and man and machine, which tells me what I am, but not who I am.
I'm not stupid. You sure about that last part?
Wait, I've always wanted to try this. You know that thing with worms? Where if you have one, you rip it in half, you get 2 worms? Do you think that'll work with you?
The trio, living as gods.
We are as gods, oh, we are gods. We're as gods, we are as gods.
Hello Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans, I am bored now, back with you. On this video I'm going to be talking about Buffy Season 6 Episode 4. It is called Flooded, full spoilers from the start of this review as always. And I think we've probably reached our first dud of the season. So this was the episode where it very much was trying to spell out this season, life may be the big bad. It's also the debut of the dreaded evil trio. So this episode first aired on the 16th of October 2001. It's directed by Douglas Petrie, very reliable TV director. It's written by Jane Espenson, Douglas Petrie and Rebecca Krusner, her first writing credit for the season. Has a Nelson rating of 6.03, so a little up from last week's episode, but quite a bit down from the double premiere. And it holds an IMDb score of 7.2. While trying to get alone, Buffy runs afoul of 3 deadbeat sorcerers who are using the otherworldly powers of a demon to rob a bank. So we get the introduction of the evil trio who would become the main antagonist and quote unquote big bads for the season. So they are Jonathan, Andrew and Warren, and uniquely they all have some sort of connection to Buffy's past. They are a group of super nerds to show the dangers of fandom, nerdom, and also how extreme technology and accessibility, if it falls into the wrong hand, can be a very dangerous thing. Described before, so then they were meant to be like the entitled bros, getting out of control, and also this extreme masculinity, and that's the point of them, and that's why over time maybe their characters have actually dated quite well. They're a very divisive group. The one we would know the most up to now is Jonathan, played by Danny Strong, who had been in Buffy since early season 2 on and off. He was the dorky, wimpy but lovable underdog who was often overlooked by many in Sunnydale High, including Buffy, but a more risky and serious season 3 storyline in the episode Earshot actually showed the range that Danny Strong, the actor, had.
You think I won't use this?
I don't know, Jonathan. I just...
Stop doing that.
Doing what?
Stop saying my name like we're friends. We're not friends. You all think I'm an idiot. A short idiot.
Nobody's really paying attention.
You think I just want attention?
No, I think you're up in the clock tower with a high-powered rifle because you want to blend in.
A heartfelt and emotional payoff to this scene came later in the season, as it was Jonathan who was chosen to award Buffy as the class protector of Sunnydale High during the prom in one of the fan favourite scenes. This seemed to confirm his status as very much on the level, a good guy and a friend of Buffy's. However, his cameo during season 4 as the suave but megalomaniacal James Bond type villain in Superstar, a more comedic episode, seemed to indicate what may lay ahead for Jonathan in the future. Danny Strong had the best career as an actor and writer out of the three actors playing the evil trio. He had a recurring supporting role as the nerdy newspaper editor and long-term Paris boyfriend on the quirky coming-of-age show The Gilmore Girls, and he also had big TV hits behind the camera as the creator and writer of the music industry show Empire, and later the very uncomfortable, disturbing, based on a true story Hulu series Dope Sick. Yes, Danny Strong did pretty well for himself after Buffy. The self-appointed leader of the trio is Warren Mears, played by Adam Bush. Warren is very much the driving force of the trio and their continuing agenda, and is the most aggressive and unlikable of the three. There's definitely an argument that both Jonathan and Andrew have been naively duped into going along and have been victims of peer pressure. Warren, more than the other two, typifies the very obnoxious, full of himself and slimy tech bro, very much a Mark Zuckerberg type character. We saw him briefly in Buffy season 5. He was the one who created for himself a robot girlfriend. He later was responsible for building the Buffy bot. Bush's career outside of Buffy has been more scattershot. His big movies are Leon the Professional 1994 and American Dreams 2006. He has appeared in a variety of TV shows, probably the biggest being Ultra Carbon, The Rookie, Law and Order, a couple of episodes of Empire, and Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. He seems like an actor who has never quite been able to find the balance between being an everyday guy and a jerk. Andrew Wells, played by John Leck, is the only one of the trio we haven't seen before in an episode of Buffy, though he does have a link to the end of season 3 and the episode The Prom, as it was his brother who set off the demon dogs. I guess that sort of maniacal activity runs in the family. The actor did appear briefly as one of Harmony Minigan vampires in season 5. Andrew is the character who at times gets the most hate from fans, because unlike Warren, he's not a natural antagonist leader, and fans tend to latch on to Jonathan because of his long-running history of the show. It's hard to really get a handle on Andrew, who at times seems to have a little bit too much verbal diarrhea. The most interesting thing about the character maybe is that he has secretly been queer-coded, as an unusual ship between him and Warren and even Jonathan has emerged, though it's never been confirmed by the show writers that Andrew is in fact gay. Definitely a love-to-hate style character, at his best. The actor has had a solid enough career on multiple TV shows outside of Buffy, including on Psych, American Horror Story, Apple TV series Palm Royale, Batgirl. He also has a small role in the Best Picture winner Argo, a fan favourite on the convention circuits at least. But yeah, there's much to talk about with Andrew and the rest of the trio as we move through season 6 and beyond. The divisive nature of the trio seems to range from the fact that their misogynist side at times is a bit too blunt and on the nose, to the fact that for a large part of the season they seem to be more like comic relief than actual threats to Buffy and co. It seems almost at times that they accidentally stumble upon something that makes them a threat. At times they feel like non-entities compared to some of the more iconic Buffy big bads, and I think maybe for some the actors just aren't as dynamic enough or as compelling to watch as previous big bads also. Diving into Flooded, and Buffy, with the house now flooded and needing repairs, realises that her stupid, neglectful friends have used up all the money from Joyce's insurance with Buffy in the afterlife. That's the first blank mark against the episode. The second is when Buffy goes to the bank to get a loan and sees that cheesy on the nose metaphor is never far behind in Buffy season 6.
No job. I wish. Are you on the wrong line? That's for deposits, that's for withdrawals, and this one, for getting kicked in the face. Stupid skirt. May I? These things, never helpful. Now, about my loan. I'm not saying I'm charging you for saving your life or anything, but let's talk rates.
The look of this demon is just a little bit too silly, cheesy and on the nose. And even though he's talked up in the episode by the super geeks as being powerful and a big threat, I just don't see him in the episode, and there doesn't seem to be anything particularly threatening or powerful about him compared with past demons. And the problem is a lot of the episode, especially his interactions with the evil trio, is more comedic based, so there's a bit of a tonal thing there. He does look like a bit of a fish demon, and I can't help but think they made him look like that just because of the whole flooding thing. There's some decent banter between him and the evil trio, I should say, who make an okay debut. What they've been cooking and their various plans. I like the whiteboard they have of to-do lists, a little bit of a tease of what they're gonna be about. The episode is a little bit plodding at times. I think the real life is the big bad stuff, like this is the reality of things. It is just a little bit too blunt and a little bit too bland to really work. At times it doesn't really feel like there's much of a metaphor. I think the meat of the episode is what drags it down almost. There's some fun comedic lines of dialogue. Giles does make a welcome return, and he's put straight into the meat of things, and him and Willow have probably the scene of the episode.
Having Buffy back in this world makes me feel indescribably wonderful, but I wouldn't congratulate you if you jumped off a cliff and happened to survive.
That's not what I did, Giles.
You were lucky.
I wasn't lucky. I was amazing. And how would you know? You weren't even there.
If I had been, I'd have bloody well stopped you. The magics you channeled are more ferocious and primal than anything you can hope to understand, and you are lucky to be alive. You rank arrogant amateur.
I'm very powerful, and maybe it's not such a good idea for you to piss me off.
A really powerful scene, great back and forth between the two characters. The rage from Giles I just love. When it calls for it, he really doesn't hold back and is not afraid to just tell Willow the blunt truth. To tell Willow is a little bit more cocky and brash in the face of Giles than she normally would be. So again, we're building up that side to Willow, which is going to come out in full force later in the season. Yeah, Giles is right back in the thick of it, as I said in this episode. Like, he just feels like the Watcher again, starts looking out for Buffy as like the father figure again, and also Dawn as well. The only thing with Giles is how the episode ends, because Angel calls from LA for Buffy, and it's because he's only just realised and she's still alive. Arranged to meet somewhere in the middle. Buffy and Giles are talking about like life stuff, money issues. Giles has said, "I will help you go over the bills you need to pay." Buffy says, "This can't wait, we'll have to talk when I get back," and rushes out. And there's this little kind of frustrated look from Giles, which I do get. I think in this case it's not really fair, because with all that Buffy and Angel have been through over the years and how big this stuff is, I can understand how she doesn't want to waste time and wants to meet up with him and kind of set the record straight. It becomes a thing as the season moves on between Buffy and Giles, where Giles thinks she's shirking her responsibilities. She thinks she's taking him for granted. They are now fully grown adults, and it's time for Buffy to face her responsibilities, especially without Joyce in the world anymore. Other times I might say, yeah, it's fair enough, be pissed with her, Giles, but I think in this moment, in this scene where she's literally just heard from Angel and he wants to meet, I can understand Buffy running off. The episode definitely has its moments. That confrontation between Giles and Willow is one of them. There's some decent enough pop culture references and comedy, and the scene in the bank was kind of amusing, a decent enough fight scene. An uneven episode, it's flat at times, and it's just sort of okay. Like, it doesn't really set the world on fire overall. It's watchable. Like, there are worse episodes this season that are a little bit unwatchable. So I'm going to give Flooded a 5.5 out of 10. Easily the weakest of the season. Scene of the episode, of course, I will go for the Giles Willow confrontation in the kitchen. And MVP of the episode, I will go Giles also, because he just steps right back into the mould. You get a nice emotional reuniting of him and Buffy. He's back on Watcher duty for the episode. He's back on parental duty. See that other side of him with the big stand-up between him and Willow, and I think that is a big scene for the season moving forward for Willow also. Loser of the episode, I'm not going to go for one of the evil trio, because there'll be plenty of time in the season to give them that award. It's out of the silly looking demon and also the bank clerk. I think the demon served a purpose, even though he's not the most memorable demon ever on the show, so I will give it to the bank clerk for being a bit of a square and dismissive and not giving Buffy a loan even after she saved his life. Now, I know that's not the way it should work in the world anyway. Context of the episode and us rooting for Buffy, then I think he can be seen as like a little bit of a tosser, as us Brits will say. Line of the episode, I'll give it to Buffy, because there is some good quippy humour. And this was quite a clever one. Think you've got the wrong line. That one's for deposits. That one's for withdrawals. And this one is for getting kicked in the face. Pop culture reference, I'll give it to Warren, because when him and Andrew are squabbling over the whole building a robot type thing, he says, "You're just mad, I wouldn't build you Christina Ricci." Ricci very much in her prime in the early 2000s, and I'll give Andrew a bit of credit, because that is a pretty cool crush to be having at that time. I also give props to Willow, because in that fight with Giles, it's a bit which I didn't include. She does reference the Blair Witch, as in the Blair Witch would be scared of the powers I summoned, so that was very nice from Willow, and timely. This is only a couple of years after the Blair Witch Project came out. Thoughts on Flooded? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always. And coming up next time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's season 6 episode 5. This one is called Life Serial. Buffy's powers are tested by Andrew, Jonathan and Warren, who seek to expose her weaknesses in an effort to destroy her. Now that doesn't really lay out what the episode is. They all set her a different kind of task, but it all involves like a time loop. Buffy has to work out how to solve the puzzle and end the time loop thing. So getting into a little bit of sci-fi territory with that, a little bit of like a Twilight Zone sort of concept. Quite a big fan favourite from this season, and it's a big episode for the Evil Trio. I'm looking forward to a rewatch of that. But thanks everyone for watching once again. Do let me know what you think of the episode. Keep watching TV, keep watching Buffy. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.
Think slaying vampires is a scary job? Try being a construction worker.
Try not to break a nail, Gidget. These beams weigh quite a few hundred pounds.
Or a sales clerk.
I heard you have a mummy hand.
An all-new Buffy.